All right, good morning. Here we go. Boot.dev. Hey, good morning, Kale. Nice to see you. Or should I say good evening? Good evening. Thanks for being a member as always. Nice to see you. Hope your, what is it, Wednesday? Hope your Wednesday went good. Crazy, we're already in the middle of the week.
It's trad coding time.
It is trad coding time. Let's go. Let's lock in. Let's go. Oh boy. Who would have thought? I did not think, 2 years ago I did not think that writing code by hand would become so controversial or so rare. You know what I mean? I just never thought it would become this. It's really funny. It's just a wild world, man. You can never controversial. Yeah, you can never predict the future. Good morning, X1. Nice to see you. I want to say I hope you have a blessed day today, that everything will work out for you today. I also can't hear you. I'm in the metro at the moment, but wanted to tell you. Well, that's very kind of you. I believe in the same things. All right. Well, I think last time we were here, we were doing the explore command, I think is where we were at. I don't think we're too far off. I think we have to implement explore, catch, and maybe one other before we're done. Okay. Let's see. Fire up the good old NeoVims. This is what they used to call an editor. And programmers would actually open this to type the characters of their code into a file. They would then save that file and they would go to the command line and they would run the file to see if the characters they had entered actually worked and did what they expected it to do. Many programmers and coders enjoyed this activity. That's what the documentaries will sound like in about a year or two. Oh, where's boot.dev? There's this TikTok there's somebody who makes funny content like that on the internet that's like and I saw one clip where it was like a lady, she was talking about like the Microsoft Teams sound. Too funny, dude. Too funny. Too funny. Hey, Mr. of Defense, good to see you. Hope life is treating you well. You're on a bus ride from Kansas City to New York, staying a job in New York Monday. Oh, wow. Well, I hope your trip goes well, man. That's crazy. Going to the Big Apple, huh? Well, I guess you could be going to somewhere else in New York. Doesn't have to be New York City, huh? But that's awesome, dude. Well, I'll be thinking about you, wishing you luck, man. I hope you crush it. Oh, it is New York City. Okay, cool. Well, I hope it goes exceedingly well. Be sure to print throwing a Pokeball at. Okay, let's just focus on, let's just focus on one at a time. Add a catch command. Hey, how are you, Tasku? How's Golang going? Yeah, Golang's going well. We are taking our sweet time progressing through the Pokedex guided project, but overall the boot.dev challenge is going well. We're at level 76 and we're trying to get to 100. So I think we're doing fairly well. I like Go though. Go's a ton of fun. I had a ton of fun writing it last year for Advent of Code. I could definitely see myself working in Go professionally. It's straightforward, simple language, good types. Yeah, I like it. Don't like it as much as C#, but yeah, I do like it. Don't get it twisted now. Okay, let's add a Pokemons. What's the plural of Pokemon? Is it just Pokemon? Yeah, you should come visit sometime, Kale. I'd like to come to Australia, honestly. So I guess we could swap places at some point. You're not missing anything. That's funny. Let's see. I guess the plural of Pokemon is just Pokemon. Okay. Pokemon is Pokemon. Yeah, so no plural. Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird one. So you can say Pokemons? Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know it was short for Pocket Monster. Wow. I've been playing Pokemon for a long time and I did not know that. All right, so should I add? I'm just going to leave it non-plural. I'm going to leave it single plural. Yeah. See, for me, it's some way too easy. What I mean by that, I work as a .NET dev, and there's no link or methods that make your life easier. For example, JWT handling. Yes, I will totally agree with you. And if you go back and watch streams of me writing Go last fall, there are multiple times where I'm bitching about the fact that that Go doesn't have very handy, nice, done-for-you ways of doing things. That you know, like the simplest way a lot of times of doing things in Go is just to write the for loop, you know? And in my brain, I'm like, God, there's got to be some nice extension method here that will do this for me. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Unfortunately or fortunately, I guess it depends on what you're looking for, right? It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Pokemon get, go ahead and copy this stuff. Basically need the same sort of, oh no, actually let's copy this one. This is more the same. What do people hate writing for loops now? Dude, people hate writing code now in general. If you don't write code, if you write code by hand, you're a Luddite now, don't you know? If you write code by hand now, you are actively contributing to your own demise. I do like a good link expression though, you know? I mean I do like it, man. I do like it. Coding by hand, gross. Exactly. Ew. Makes me think of I don't know if you guys have ever watched the show Schitt's Creek. How dare you not spend your money on tokens to generate that code? How dare you, good sir? It made me think of ew, David. Ooh, David.
David. David?
No, that's not the one. Ew, David compilation. I'm surprised no one's made a video where she's just saying it again and again and again because it's very funny.
David. David?
Oh my god, now I can't search YouTube
David?
without going to AI.
You know what, David?
Oh god.
You get murdered.
There we go.
Ew, no, David. Snap, David.
This is how I feel people react to hand programming now.
Ew, no, David.
Ew, no, David. How dare you do such things? Good morning, Lasagna. How are you? Nice to see you, Bradley. So that's all we need to do to get the Pokemon, but we need to make sure that that endpoint actually returns what we think it returns. And that we can actually reuse our struct, because I don't actually know if we can. I'm going to guess at what this is. I'm just going to say this is Pokemon. PokeAPI.com. What just happened? I have no idea what just happened. I think just searching that on Edge just killed my browser. What the hell? That was weird. Windows. Looking for the Pokemons. Huh. So it said use the Pokemon endpoint. So I feel like that's what I'm doing. Chapter 9 in Python, time is limited, but I'm trying to finish it off. Nice, dude. Yeah, there's only so much time in the day, you know? So you do what you can and make as much progress as you can, you know? I don't know what I'm supposed to get, though, from here. I mean, obviously I have their name, but what else? Held items, okay. Moves, pound, great, species, sprite, cries, stats, types, past types. Give the user a chance to catch the Pokemon using the Mathran package. You can use the Pokemon's base experience to determine the chance of catching it. The higher the base experience, the harder it should be to catch. Okay, so I guess all I need from this endpoint is name and base experience. Now, I think I'm going to rename that struct that we have already, because I don't think if we look at the locations endpoint, locations areas, yeah. So Pokemon Encounter has name and URL. But that doesn't share with this shape either. So I'm gonna rename that to Pokemon Encounter or some other thing, because I can't really use the same thing. So we have location area, which has Pokemon Encounter. Pokemon Encounter has a Pokemon field, which has a Pokemon struct. So I need to rename this. I guess let's rename this. What do we want to rename it? Something. I'm doing well. X1. Yeah, I hope you're doing good too. No complaints. I mean, I just woke up like 30 minutes ago. So you know, hopefully by the time I find you guys in the morning, nothing bad has happened, you know? But yesterday went good. I don't have anything to complain about from yesterday. Working right now? Yeah, we gotta earn that. We gotta sing for our supper, you know? Earn that paycheck. I'm gonna call this encountered Pokemon. And then I'm gonna copy it. And I'm gonna bring this down here. Whoop! I think I just leaked an API key. Don't pay attention. It's a sandbox API key, so it's okay. I should probably though clear out the register so that doesn't happen again. Let's see, Pokemon name. And what else did I say we need here? Probably good to grab their ID while we're here. ID. And then probably good to take their base experience, I think is base experience. JSON. That. Winding down for sleep time. Very cool. Well, hopefully the music and my droning on about things will help you fall asleep. Honestly, brain is a bit cooked right now. Don't know if I want to write anything. I feel you. I feel you, man. Some nights you just gotta chill. Oh. There we go. Is there anything else? I think we need to set the path. Pokemon. Yeah, there you go. We need to set the path here. And I think that's correct. Go back to the docs. Pokemon. Yep, that's correct. So it just needs the name, which is wonderful. We format the request URL. We pass that in. Life is good. Then let's go to our commands.go. Jump down here. Let's add a catch command. Yeah, catch command. See, name is catch. Description is attempt to catch Pokemon with given name. Okay, this is largely the same thing right here. So we will please provide Pokemon name. Then we will do Pokemon get. And then this is going to be I guess we should do something like format dot println throwing a Pokeball at Of course, this needs the Pokemon name. And then we have to do something to determine the chance. So how would we do that? It said we can use math.random, right? Returns a non-negative pseudo-random int. So obviously I need to generate a random number. Power naps are how I survive. Well, didn't you say you're working like 16-hour days or something like that? That's pretty crazy. All right, I don't even know how to do this. 9 hours at one job, 5 at another, 2 hours at uni. Yeah, see, you're working a lot, man. No wonder you're tired. That's crazy schedule. Crazy. Power naps are indeed how you survive. Let's ask Boots. I don't know how to simulate the chance of something. Here, I'm gonna try to rubber duck with Boots here. So I guess I'm trying to say, for example, I want the catch to succeed 75% of the time, which means 1 out of every 4 attempts should fail. I guess the base XP could be used to reduce or increase that percentage, that success rate. But how do I go from that understanding to some working code? Oh man, I have a ton of salmon. Ton of salmon. It's sustainable long term, or it's unsustainable long term. Just doing a project on the side of my full-time job for another company and already doing my math. Yeah, I mean, but that's the whole point of these periods of your life, right? I mean, you're knowingly doing something sacrificial for something better in the future, right? So it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. Okay, I can do that. So we'll do... I need eight good quality hours. I'm just not at my best. Well, that's good that you have self-awareness to know that, because a lot of people don't pay attention to that stuff, you know. I can scrape by on 4, but not for long. Yeah, I've always been a pretty short sleeper. Probably I've always kind of averaged around, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours of sleep for most of my life. My wife tells me I need more, and I've done a little better, I think, over the last couple of years of getting more sleep. I don't know. The scientific literature is very clear on this, that sleep, maybe next to weight management, or maybe just above weight management, sleep is probably the most important thing for your health, both physically and mentally. So if you're not, I mean, I do think there's genetic variation, right? Don't get me wrong. I do think there's genetic variations where some people just don't need as much sleep as others, right? But I do think there's sort of a floor, right? If you're shortchanging yourself to 5 hours or less of sleep for a long period of time, there's probably negative physiological consequences that you're suffering, but you're suffering them at, you know, it's kind of like it's like smoking, right? It's like you don't die the first time you smoke, right? Or the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time, or even the 100th time, right? It's this cumulative effect over many years, right? And I think sleep is the same way. I've got a sleep debt of like 200 years, 200 hours this year. Hey, I totally understand though, but like I think that this is a trade-off, right? You're making a conscious decision. You're saying I'm going to sacrifice a little now to hopefully give me, maybe your girlfriend and whoever your future family is, maybe a better future. So it's a trade-off. We all make them. Man, honestly, a lot of people's problems can be solved with prioritizing quality sleep, eating real food, and exercising. Yeah, I mean, it's very basic stuff. It's like, when I was personal training people, I used to always just say, you just kind of have to be a human. Like humans were designed to like move. Like you gotta move your body. Get some sunlight, get good sleep, drink water. All right, like you gotta do these basic things. Unfortunately, society has largely become pretty structurally society does not make it easy for people to do these things. Yeah, it's just structurally we're kind of set up almost where we make it, instead of creating a pit of success for people have to work really hard to do those things, to check all those boxes, get enough sleep, eat the right foods, get enough water. You're basically having to swim upstream, which is not good. I can't handle the session without a smoke, a run, and a good gym session. I feel you, man. I feel you. You're in the thick of it. You are definitely in the thick of it. This would be 100. I used to wrestle BJJ, just weights these days, but I do miss it. Dude, I miss Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Actually, I just Googled it yesterday or the day before. I can't remember what day we were all on stream talking about this, but I just Googled it, and there is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym that's literally within walking distance of my house, which is pretty great. I think it's called... this is the one I'd like to go to, the Gracie Humaida one, but this one's kind of far from me. This is actually like a 20 or 30 minute drive. But there is a gym closer to me that I believe the guy who runs it is a Gracie. I think he was under maybe Royce. But it's like 18 minutes. It's like right around the block. So I was like, when I saw that, I was like, I think it's meant to be. I need to sign up and get going, because that means I could actually do it. I could actually do it during the day. Like I could take lunch, walk down there, and walk back home, which would be very convenient when the kids are in school. Yeah, I'll probably have to buy a new gi. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no-gi's good. I haven't done as much no-gi. I've done way more gi than I have no-gi. Okay, we need to clamp this. So we need to do... My last gi got ruined when I broke my nose. Yikes, dude. Yeah, that's intense. Broken nose is no good. So I think I want to do this, where we have some starting value, which our chance will be 75. This is our base catch rate equals 75. And then I want to take off the Pokemon base experience, but we need to clamp it to something, right? So I don't want the experience to go too low. I guess, what are the experience values that are most common? Yeah, I don't know how high Poke API experience range. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Nice to see you. I can't be like, hey, one sec, can you put this gi on before we fight? It's totally, I've heard that criticism before of practicing gi, so that's totally fair. You know, gi is definitely much more of the sport of BJJ versus the self-defense or martial art, probably a part of BJJ. That would actually be kind of funny, though. It might throw off your attacker just enough, right? That you may not even have to fight if you immediately reach into your backpack and rip out a gi and say, wait. Please put this on first. I think Kale, me, and Larzanya are all former, or I think Kale currently does it, and me and Larzanya are former practitioners. And I would like to get back to it. So that's one of my, I think that's going to be one of my things before the end of the year, is I'd like to sign back up. Yeah, former, yeah. I stopped in 2020. So I started in like 2016, and then I stopped in 2020. right when because COVID hit, and my wife and I were like, well, given everything we're hearing, that's probably not the best activity to be doing right now. And then I just never got back to it. Just got my black belt in last October. Congratulations, man. What a grind. Congratulations, dude. That deserves some claps. Let's clap it up for you. That's awesome. I got as far as a blue belt. That's as far as I got. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one too. Oh my goodness, guys. We just want regular old clapping. Why do we have to have that kind of clapping?
Nice. Congratulations.
There we go. 13 years, man. That's awesome. You rock. So basically what I want to do is I want to scale whatever experience I get. I want to normalize it back to a value between 0 and say 25. I want to normalize the experience I get back to a modifier between 25 to 0, but I don't know ahead of time the existing ranges of multiple people used to do Muay Thai, huh? So you don't need to know the global min-max. If you capped formula rather than true normalization, for example, decide on the scale factor, then cap it. Questions to guide the design. If basic experience is small, should its modifier be small or large? Yes, it should be large. What scale makes typical experience values produce a useful spread? If a modifier reduces catch chance, can it ever make the chance negative? If so, where should you clamp it? No, it won't. As long as I clamp it at 25. How do you clamp and go? I'm the guy who tries to fucking cartwheel for the arm. I mean, you'll never know. If you don't throw it, you'll never know. You know what I mean? Might as well try. I'm the guy who just top pressures into Americana. I mean, it's not a bad move. It's not a bad move. Okay. Let's see. We can clamp like this. So the base rate is going to be 75. The modifier is going to be equal to Pokemon dot base experience minus modifier. I'm more of a guard pressure. I like to try and pressure into their guard, but stay agile. I'm being in guard, but I prefer to stay agile and try and pass to side. Yeah, I was definitely much more of a top pressure guy myself. Just given my like size and strength. But I always aspired to kind of get better to the point where I felt way more comfortable just pulling guard. You know? Okay. So what we'll do is we're gonna say Pokemon XP equals Pokemon dot base experience. Then we'll do a short little, we'll say if Pokemon XP is less than 0, set Pokemon XP to 0. If Pokemon XP is greater than 1,000, so this will be Pokemon XP min value 0, Pokemon XP max value. I actually don't know what these max values are. I'm just making it arbitrary. Then we will do Pokemon XP equals Pokemon max value. Pokemon min value. Have I done any judo, stand-up grappling? No. Jiu-jitsu is the only martial art I've ever done. Or the only I guess grappling sport, you know, that I've ever done. Like I didn't wrestle in high school or anything like that. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll say, give me float 64. This is going to be Pokemon XP, whatever it is. And we'll divide that by the max. This would be Pokemon max value. And then what do we want to do? Times that by our factor, which would be like, basically if we're here, let's say Pokemon's, at this point Pokemon's XP is 100. So at this point we would divide it by 1,000. We'd get, what is that? 1%? No, 10%? Yeah, that's 0.10%. So then we multiply that by some value. What if we multiply that by 75? God, that could really reduce the... So I guess this is where I'd want to say I want a 10% reduction in chance. So I think actually what I can do is I can say just multiply this by 75. Base chance equals 75. And then we can do actual chance. This all needs to be casted to an int. So let's do 0. Let's remove the floats. And then we'll say if chance, or no, if roll is greater than chance, we'll catch them. Otherwise, we won't. Just turned 40, tall and heavy, lower back pain since early 20s. Yeah, lower back pain would definitely make Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu difficult to participate in. Especially if someone tried to put you in a triangle. Especially with just the posturing that you're always having to do, you know? You're always, yeah, that would be a frustrating. This actually should be base chance. That's redundant. This is redundant. Now we need to surround this whole thing. So basically, what we're doing with this math is we're saying, okay, if there's a base chance of 75%, we're gonna calculate some relative percentage from Pokemon XP to our scale, which is 0 to 1,000. So in this case, it would be 10%. So we'll calculate 10% of 75.0 and then subtract that off 75 for our actual chance. Wanted to do this. Why are you telling me there is a problem? Missing before new line in argument. Okay, I think that's good. What's funny actually is the programmer stereotype, yet we're all here talking about fitness. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a good thing, you know? Like, I feel like people shouldn't feel the need to stick within a box for whatever their favorite activities are, you know? Like, I like the juxtaposition of people who do things that seem uncorrelated, right? Someone who lifts weights but also likes to nerd out about, I don't know, garbage collector design, or you know what I mean? Like I like, you know, people who have disparate hobbies or disparate interests. I like that. So if roll is greater than chance, then we're going to catch the Pokemon. Now, what do we do if we catch the Pokemon? Can use the Pokemon's bit to determine the... once the Pokemon is caught, add it to your user's Pokedex. I used a map to keep track of caught Pokemon. So I'm not going to use a map of string. I'm just going to use their ID. So we will do... Okay, so we need to add to our context object. Context. We're going to add a map to this. This is going to be caught Pokemon. This is going to be a map of int to Pokemon. And we'll just make sure we initialize that. Actually, we should probably make sure we're initializing both of these things, shouldn't we? Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Larzania. I think lifting weights is, or some sort of weight bearing. You know, I don't necessarily know if it needs to be specifically lifting weights, but some sort of strength training, something that puts load on your musculoskeletal system. Yeah, 100%. Whether that be calisthenics, carrying heavy objects, whatever form you want that to take, but yeah, you got to be applying load to your muscles and your bones on a regular basis. Just like you have to be getting cardiovascular activity on a regular, but you know, these are things that you need. I think these are boxes that you have to check in order to be considered functioning normally, you know? Okay. So, I guess I'll say format.println. You caught him. Or I'll say else format.println %s was able to break free. I feel like we should also simulate some sort of like waiting or delay here too, you know, kind of like in the game where the ball rocks side to side as you're waiting for it to so this should be Pokemon dot name. This should be printf. You caught name. Yeah, I feel like that's good. Now, what is this complaining about? If statement can be modernized using max. Okay, show me. Oh yeah, we're basically, this is basically clamping, right? So we're saying give us the max value between the base experience and the min. And then we're saying give us the min value between the max and whatever was returned from this max call. That's much more elegant. I think that's all, right? I think that's all we need to do. I think we just have to test it now. Oh, we didn't add it to our we didn't add it to our. So we should say format.print f
Did we just become best friends?
Hey, Lasagna, thanks for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate that, man. It's pretty quiet over there most days. Pokemon.id. Now, one thing I don't think we talked about is, or they didn't talk about, is what happens if you try to catch a Pokemon that you've already caught. We should probably give you the option to choose if you want to recatch it. But for now, I guess you'll just always replace it. But there's probably a thing where we probably want to say, probably want to allow user to decide if they want to catch a Pokemon they've already caught. Maybe present XP of current first encountered, then let them choose. All right, let's try to see if this works. Go. Go run. I realize also I did not start my timer, so we're gonna say we're on break here after we test this. Let's see. So we're gonna map, and then let's explore Lav City area. And let's try to catch a... Oh, there's a Gyarados right there. Give me the Gyarados. I made a Blue Sky post the other day where I said that I think you can tell a lot of... I think that you can tell a lot about a person based on whether or not they spent the time to level a Magikarp to a Gyarados. I feel like that tells you a lot about this kind of the base character traits of somebody. Throwing a Pokeball at Gyarados. Gyarados was able to break free. So we have a 75% chance, or we should have a 75% chance, roughly, which means we should be able to try again. Let's see, that's 2 out of 2 we failed. I caught him. So that was roughly 3 tries. Nice. Okay. I do think we should print out a little bit more information. First off, this needs to be new line. I don't use Twitch much anymore, but no worries. Yeah, you don't have to use Twitch, but I appreciate you following me over there. It's very kind of you. Twitch is a weird platform. I was doing a bunch of research on Twitch. Apparently the whole model of their network is all based on, or the social graph over there is all based on sort of a kingmaker type of social system. So the only way you can really get a bigger following there is you either have to get people who already have large followings to sort of co-sign for you and raid your channel and stuff, or you have to basically go get the audience somewhere else and drive them there, which I think is such a weird, it's so different than how all the other social platforms work. I'm gonna add a little bit of information here. Let's try this again. Map. Explore. Let's try to catch a Gyarados again. So he has an XP of 189. So roughly, I should have roughly I don't know, I guess roughly a 65% chance of catching one based on the math I've done. caught him. Cool. It's working. We should probably change that message, though, to say lowercase. All right, was there anything else we needed to do for that one? I don't think so. We add the catch command. We are printing the message. We are getting the information. We're using a random calculation. We're using the base XP. We're storing them in the map. We tested it manually. All right. Let's give her a go. Throwing a Pokeball at Squirtle. Squirtle was able to break free, closing the Pokedex. So I wonder how they make sure they can catch us. Oh, they're only checking for throwing a Pokeball. That's the only thing they're checking for. Oh man, I wish they were doing a little bit more testing on our app. Throwing a Pokeball at Squirtle. Oh, the XP. That's screwing it up. Well, that sucks. Okay, well, I kind of like having the XP in there myself, but it's fine. Kind of like knowing how strong the Pokemon is. There we go. Okay, break time? Break time. Put some water on. I added a notification too to the Pomodoro timer, so it does make a sound now when the timer ends. So that's good. Look at this 3D print. That's in the Discord server. Filthy Potato made that. That's pretty good, huh? Little Rust Station. Okay, what's up, Captain Lucho? Yo, Steven, you have inspired me to get up early and start coding while I drink my coffee to feel like I'm not getting dumber by the constant use of AI at work. Yeah, I mean, I hope you're not. I'm definitely not. I hope I don't not trying to scare anybody with my whole AI may have bad or may have side effects, right? I hope I'm not scaring anybody, but I'm just trying to do what feels right to me and making time to continue to work on my craft feels right. Doesn't mean you can't use AI for sure, but I think it's kind of like I think spending time writing code by hand or engineering solutions yourself, it's sort of going to become like the equivalent of going to the gym, right? It's like at your job, you might use these tools that give you a lot of leverage and a lot of productivity, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't make time to still learn and try to exercise, right, the muscles that you have so you don't atrophy. But I'm glad. You're always welcome to join us here while you drink your coffee and code, because that's what I'll be doing. Captain Lucho, correct. Yeah, see, I think that analogy makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Plus, I can't really afford to be an agentic coder myself in my free time. It's too expensive. I can afford the $10 a month Gemini plan, but I can't afford the $200 a month, $200 a month Claude Pro Max, whatever it is, or the, I think Copilot has a $200. I think Gemini has a $200 a month plan too. I just can't afford those, you know? Like if I had an extra $200 to spend, I'd just add it to my investments every month. And then that would be what, $200? It would be roughly, I don't know, $4,000 in 30 years, roughly. Yeah, I just can't give up that wealth building opportunity. GitHub Copilot is getting pricier and pricier. Dude, GitHub Copilot subscription sucks. I had their $10 a month subscription for the longest time, like for years, you know, when it was just a tab autocomplete. And then they made those, and it was great. The usage you got from it was great. And then they made those price, or wasn't a price change, it was like they started measuring their usage differently, I think, is what they were doing. And it totally nerfed the $10 a month plan that I was on. Yeah, it just, you don't get any usage out of it. Like, you use it like one time and you run out of usage. It's crazy. Gemini is pretty generous. They give you access to, or at least on the $20 a month plan I'm on, they give you access to obviously their Gemini family models. Then you have some usage for a couple of the Claude models, and that's enough for me. And then I usually supplement that with OpenCode, because OpenCode has really generous free tier usage on their models. I forgot to start the water. There we go. Nice little doo-doo. Okay, so that works. That's good. I tested that yesterday, but that's the first time I've tested it since I published the new version. All right, next thing. So now we're gonna do an inspect command. Just like in the Pokemon game, our Pokedex will only allow players to see details about a Pokemon if they have seen it before, or in our case, caught it. Add an inspect command. It takes the name of a Pokemon and prints the name, weight, height, stats, and types of the Pokemon. Okay, I did not collect any of this. You should not need to make an API call to get this information, since you should have already stored it when the user caught the Pokemon. If the user has not caught the Pokemon, just print a message saying so. Okay, I did not capture any of this information, so we need to do that. I'm gonna open this and split. How do you split the split screen? There we go. Can put this off to the side real quick just so I can see. So we need, what else? What do we need to add to our model? Does this run a suite of tests or something against your solution, or how does it measure your correctness? So it really doesn't do a wonderful, that's the one thing I will say as a criticism of maybe boot.dev in general. Their testing of your solution isn't especially robust. I feel like Free Code Camp's automated tests are a little bit more robust. So basically what they do is, in a lot of cases, you're building this stuff on the command line. And so they either have you do one of two things. They have you run the code. They give you like a CLI tool that you install on your machine. And then you, What are you doing? Stop doing that. Oh. Sorry, hold on. I think Power Toys crashed on me. I used to do the free tier ones on Codecrafters. They had a few bugs sometimes. So I've never done Codecrafters, but I've heard good things about their challenges. But yeah, so basically the way boot.dev does it is they have the CLI tool. You put it on your machine and you submit your solution like this. And I'm guessing they use this ID right here to figure out which lesson you're on. And that determines how they do things, how the CLI test your stuff. But they kind of tell you what they're going to do ahead of time. So they tell you this is what we're going to run on your machine, and then this is what we're going to expect. We're going to expect it to run with a exit code of 0, and then we want this text to be in the output. But that's not really a robust assessment, because like you could totally fake that, right? You could just write a program that literally does exactly that. So it can definitely be hacked around if you wanted to gamify this. I mean, I bet you could, even with an LLM, I bet you could build a little harness that just goes to the page, scrapes the test, and then writes a program that does exactly what they're going to test for. So I feel like they could probably make this more robust. They could probably like give you a file or like a starter program that has a huge test suite with it, and you need to implement against that test suite. That would probably be nice. Obviously, that would then rob you of the opportunity to write the test yourself, but you know, what are you gonna do? Yeah. Free Codecamp has more of like a test suite. Like you program against a defined set of behaviors. I feel like that might be a little bit more useful for giving you real feedback to know that you've actually done what they told you to do. Because I feel like that's probably more important for a student, is to make sure that like, hey, I am actually, because I have confidence that I've done what they said, but that's after 6 years of building programs and writing code. But if you're somebody brand new who's doing this for the first time, I think you'd probably want more feedback than just a single command line run of your program. What do I know though? Okay, so we need height. We need weight. Okay, and then we need a new struct that's going to be our stats. So we'll do type Pokemon stats. HP int JSON. It's going to be attack. Defense. I had this argument with my son about how, like, in Pokemon, you know how there's moves that do damage, and then there's moves that alter the attributes of Pokemon. And I told my son, I was like, I've literally never used the non-damaging attacks when I play the game, because I always feel like it's a waste of a move. And he was like, you don't understand how to be strategic, Dad. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I just never understood the point of those. You know, like you do, I don't know, what is it, like roar or whatever, lowers somebody's defense, or like I don't know why I would waste a move doing that. Why wouldn't I just do damage every single move? And then let's add stats down here. It's gonna be Pokemon stats, JSON, Pokemon stats. Okay, let's make sure all that stuff lines up with the Oh, interesting. That is not the right shape. Interesting. So it actually looks like this. This is actually a list. This is actually a list. Don't know if I don't know if this is how I would have modeled it, but this is how they modeled it. So this is actually stats. It's the field name. And then this should be an object. And this object so then this has some strange properties on it. So it has a base stat. Don't know what that means. Base stat. I'm just doing some things in making dinner. Oh, no worries, dude. Yeah, no pressure at all to just feel free to chill and do whatever you'd like. I'm just talking to myself more than anything. Lurking. There you go. Lurk away. Lurk away. I'm a lurker myself, so I... Okay, this is not the weirdest shape. Look at this. The shape of this data. They put a stat object, or there's a stat field that's a list of stats. Then each stat has 2 entries followed by a stat field itself. So weird, bro. So weird. So I don't know how to name these things. Okay. So, and we'll just call this, we'll just kind of mimic their naming convention here. Stat is a struct. What type stat? I'm sure it makes sense for whatever reason to whoever was designing the API at the time. Okay, yeah, I gamed one of the tests because I figured it out another way. Yeah, see, I feel like you could game a lot of their tests. A lot of their test suite could be hacked on, but I guess it depends on what your aims are as the company who's producing the education. Also, PowerToys is great. PowerToys I use mostly for the launcher, so I use it for the launcher. I use it for key remapping. So in NeoVim, I remapped caps lock to escape. I use it for Zoom It. That's how I install Zoom It now. So that's the tool that I used to install this separately, but now it comes built into PowerToys. What else? The highlighting of your cursor is nice when I'm doing screen recordings. I use it all the time for work because most of what I do for work is telling people when something's not working correctly. So I use it all the time for work for making recordings. And the recordings is really nice because they actually have this ability where you can start the recording and then I'm pretty sure you can toggle your camera on and off. And I forgot what the key binding is for that. And it'll actually capture both your computer audio as well as your mic, which is really nice. So it's not really a PowerToys feature, that's more of a Zoom It feature. But Zoom It comes with, or PowerToys just comes with, it's just a bunch of utilities anyways, right? So the environment variables editor is nice. Fancy zones, I use fancy zones. That's how I organize all my windows for streaming and stuff. I use Screen Ruler sometime when I'm doing front-end development. I use workspaces, so I launch all my apps that I use to stream every morning, so I can just do that with a single click. There's a bunch of stuff in here. All this stuff should just be built into Windows at this point. I don't understand why they still have it as a standalone thing. They could, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you're always cheating, yeah, boot.dev could be like, get out of here. Why my stream lag with the messages? Sorry, dudes. Don't worry about it, man. You're fine. You're totally fine. It could be me. It may not be you. I'm back to real time. Nice. Oh, I was gonna look and see what is the there's a keyboard shortcut for turning on your show webcam. Control C. I thought that's what it was. I don't know why it's not working. Anyways, yeah, I love PowerToys. No, it's definitely me. It happens, you know? You're busy, man. You're busy doing stuff. Important things. We need name and URL. Actually, I think we just need name, don't we? Stat, name. I think that will take care of us. We have a list of stats, which are these guys, and then we need a list of types. So we're gonna do types, which is a list of Pokemon types. Yesterday, my messages weren't sending. Today, my stream just buffered. It went back 5 minutes. Wonderful. Well, I mean, I guess we should just consider it magical, the fact that I'm sitting in Kansas and I'm streaming video all the way to the other side of the earth. I mean, that's, regardless of any technical hiccups, right? It's a pretty cool thing when you think about it. Okay, types. Types is an object with 2 keys. And we only really care about one, which is name. So we have all our data now. Now we can go over here and add a function, command, inspect, see context error. And for most of this, we can copy. We definitely don't need so we don't need all this crap. That needs to be Pokemon. That needs to be Pokemon too. Oh, and then instead of fetching this, we can say, oh, that's why they wanted me to store it by name. Okay. That's why they wanted me to key it by name, was so that I could retrieve it by name. That's fine. We can do that. So we can do c dot top Pokemon c dot args 0. And this will actually be, it'll either give us back a Pokemon or indicate it's found. If not caught, then return, I guess we just return nil. And then say format.println, you have not previously caught a %s, which is going to be the name they gave us, which is going to be c.args0. Pokemon to inspect. It's going to be c.args0. That. And then now we need to print all that information. So we need to print the name. Let's see if we can do this. Format print f. This is going to be name. S. Pokemon dot name. Then we need height and weight. Once again, align these. Then we have to do stats, which is just going to be dot print line stats. So the first stat's HP. I guess we'll loop over him, huh? So we'll say for stat range over Pokemon stats format.printf is going to be the name. So I have this, then the name, space, and then the base. So we'll say stat name, I think is how we get there, and then stat.base stat. And I think it wants us to add, how many spaces are there? I think it's 2 spaces. It wants us to lead by 2 spaces. Then it wants us to print types. And we'll do the same thing. Except this is just can't forget the new line. I always forget the new line. All right, let's try this. Oh, I didn't register that command. Okay, we're gonna hold on before we're not done yet. Hold on, we're not gonna take our break just yet. We're almost there. Give me a sec. This needs to be updated too. C.register. What's the name of this thing? Inspect command? Yeah. CLI command. Name. Inspect. Description. Inspect information about Pokemon with given name. If caught. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. So let's map. Let's explore Konalov city area. Let's catch a Gyarados. Ah, he broke free. Ah, he broke free again. Oh my goodness, this is a strong Gyarados. Oops. Okay, I caught him. Now I should be able to do inspect Gyarados. So we have his attack, we have his speed, we have special defense, special attack. We do not have his type though. We also need to fix this. And this. So I must have something off with how I define that type. So this says types. Types. Huh. So types is an array. So why wouldn't this serialize properly? So types is a list or an array. We have the key, right? What is this slot? What is that? Is that actually a part of the type definition? I guess so. Pokemon type. The order of the Pokemon's types are listed, so I probably need to define that, huh? I wouldn't think that would make a difference. I think I can just take the keys I want, can't I? I'm pretty sure I can just take the keys I want. I don't think I have to deserialize the whole thing. So I guess it begs the question, what does the API return for Gyarados? So let's see. Let's see what it says. Oh. Oh. There's a I'm missing a I'm missing a level of the data structure. I'm missing a type struct, which is this. And then this has a type, which is a type. Man, they really decomposed their data model, didn't they? So then we got to come back to the commands page here. And it's going to be type.name. Okay, so let's try to catch Gyarados. And then inspect. There we go. So I think that matches what they want. For looking here. It looks like this has a space. And these don't. I'm gonna add spaces. I don't think that matters. I think spaces make it look better. So I'm gonna add a space here. I'm out of space here. I know, I'm taking such liberties. What's another Pokemon we could try to catch? Charizard? Air execute. Oh, that sucks. Catch Charizard. How do you spell Charizard? Oh, there's an I. Charizard. I bet you guys don't have a Charizard in your Pokedex. Sad morning for you. Get on my level. Let's go ahead and submit. Have I completed this lesson? You're not even going to test me? Yes. Okay, add a Pokedex command, takes no arguments, but prints a list of all the names of the Pokemon the user has caught. So the Pokedex has a Pokedex command. All right, we're on break, so we're gonna do the coffee making now. Do the coffee making. Oh, and we need to do the coffee can. Ugh. water's ready. Good morning, Tyler. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. It's always kind and thoughtful. All right, we got to add an inspect command now. No, a Pokedex command, sorry. Display the names of all Pokemon you've caught. This is going to be command Pokedex. So it's just going to say your Pokedex. Whoops. You got to print it, Steven. Your Pokedex. And then it's just going to loop over. And it's going to say for Pokemon range over c.cot, and we're just going to format print f I honestly don't think we should be printing in these commands. I think what should actually happen is either the commands themselves should return a message, like a properly formatted message, or the command should accept IO writer. And that would then allow us to make the commands all much more testable. So I think that might be one thing I refactor about the app. And then obviously I need to write tests, but yes, I think that'll do it. Declared but not used Pokedex command. And then also the registration. I need to fix this registration. We should just define the commands in an array and then loop over them and call register on every single one. So this is going to be done now. So go run catch Charizard. Catch Charizard. Oh man, this Charizard's strong. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think we made the modifier too hard. There we go. That was one strong Charizard. And then let's do Pokedex. There you go. That's it. That's what we wanted. And let's see. Submit your repo. Okay. So we'll do git add, git commit, added inspect, or no, added catch, inspect, and Pokedex command. So I will say that the bulk of this project, which is kind of funny, the bulk of this project was really just setting up the, which I think is I think that's a good code smell, where the bulk of the project was really writing the internals of the client and then structuring the REPL, like architecting the structure of the command structure. And then once we had those two in place, it's relatively easy to keep extending it and adding functionality, because you're basically just defining a command, you put all your business logic inside that command, execute the command, use your internal API and cache packages. I do think there is some improvements though. Like I said, the command can probably take an IO writer, makes it more testable. The commands could be defined in an array. We could loop over that instead of individual register calls. We don't have enough tests. We definitely could make the catch logic more interesting. There's lots of things we could do different. We could add different strength of Pokeballs, right? We could persist the Pokédex to disk. All those would be good things. But obviously, our main goal is to level up in boot.dev, not make the best Pokédex CLI in the world. So we're going to go ahead and submit our repo. Hey, what's up? Rex in? Yo, bro. Yo, man, what's up with you? Yo, bro, back at ya. That makes me think of the app from Silicon Valley. Bro. What language is this? This is Go. We're doing boot.dev. We're doing boot.dev, and we're currently on the Build a Pokedex guided project course. And we just finished it. We've been on this one for a little while, though. It's taken us a week, I think, 5 days, roughly. Pokedex CLI. I don't think it would take everyone that long, though. I've just only been working on it on stream. And I talk too much while I work. I think there's a bug. Have you completed this lesson? Yeah, I've completed that. There we go. Why is my repo not there? Pokedex CLI. Huh. It like doesn't change the state of the lesson. Huh. That seems odd, don't it? Get my coffee real quick. Huh. It registers that I did do it though, so that's good. All right, now we're moving on to SQL. I'm gonna get the coffee real quick. All right. Well, this should be very interesting for everybody to watch me write SQL. Hey Steven, off topic. I'm a CS student in Asia dreaming of big tech and startups. Since you're in the US, do you think moving there is a must to be the best, or can I reach those goals from here? I don't see why you couldn't reach those goals from there. I mean, there's incredibly smart, intelligent people all over the earth, you know what I mean? In all disciplines and all fields. That have made significant contributions. You know, I think to be the best largely is defined by what do you want your contribution to be, right? I think that's probably more important. So I remember when I was in my undergraduate, I knew I wanted one of the things I wanted to try to do was I wanted to try and do some research around behavioral change psychology. And that was going to require me going to get some sort of advanced degree. But I cared far less about what school I went to, and I cared far more about who my advisor was going to be. Who was I going to do my studies underneath, right? So like, I think that's something to think about is like, what do you want your contributions to be in an academic sense? Do you want them to be in a business sense? Do you want them to be in a particular field? Do you want them to be on the technical side of the equation? Do you want them to be on the business, right? And that's going to sort of define where you go and what you do, in my opinion. So I think it's much better to begin with the end in mind, right? So best is just too abstract to make any concrete statements about what you should or shouldn't do. One of my favorite strength coaches, his name's Dan John, and he always says, like, you have to evaluate everything through the lens of your goal. Good morning, Mark. I couldn't beat you today. So that's what I would encourage you to do is to really nail down what is your actual goal and then work back from there, right? You know, like, for example, if you wanted to be on the cutting edge of hardware or chip design, I would imagine you'd want to try to go work at one of those big, you know, the 3 leaders, right, in that space, 3 or 4 leaders. Or if you wanted to go be, if you wanted to deal with lithography, right, there's only a few companies in the world who study that. Stuff like that, right? Like, I think you got to kind of tailor your path to whatever your end destination is. Most people just, they don't well define the end destination, which means their path takes a windy, wandering road, which is not necessarily bad, just is, you know. Good morning, Justin. Good advice. Oh, thank you very much. My advice is like n equals 1, 2. but hopefully that was helpful test. And I wish you all the best of luck with your dreams. You know, I hope you do reach big tech or participate in startups. I hope you finish your CS studies. Yeah, I wish you all the best, man. We learn in SQL now. We are learning SQL now. So we're no longer, I guess I should probably update. I guess I should probably update the stream, shouldn't I? Writing down the goal, writing out different approaches also helps. Maybe not writing specifically, but some sort of physical medium of the roadmap. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, the more tangible you can make your thing, the better. Okay, how do I change the... I think my Twitch stream title is still the same. I don't think I've changed that. I think it just says becoming an archmage. Yeah. Learn. Oh, no, it says learn Go with boot.dev. So I'm not doing that anymore. We need to update that. Stream... Stream manager. Payment app. Wow, surely boot.dev has a great real world examples. I think it does. I think it has pretty good ones. I don't know how far we'll actually get to building a payment app though, you know. I mean, taking payments is pretty involved. If you're not using Stripe, you know, or some intermediary. I'm guessing it'll just be a good example of like data modeling. You know, how would you model this data and work with it in SQL? Okay, we are learn SQL with boot.dev. So I don't want to necessarily. I guess I'll leave my YouTube stream the same. Because I don't really want to change the title. Okay. Here we go. All right. Welcome to the comprehensive course on SQL, Structured Query Language. Let's build payment app. The code to the right is a simple query that returns or selects all rows, columns from a people table. But there's a problem. The table we're trying to use is called users, not people. Fix the bug by changing people to users in the query. Dude, if people are offended about me hand coding in 2026, they must be offended by me handwriting SQL in 2026. I guess I have to submit it. Databases are made up of tables, which are made up of columns. It's just like an Excel spreadsheet. Our Cash Pal database has a users table with these columns. Update the query to select only the age column from the users table. Oh, this is much the learning loop here is much tighter compared to the Pokedex CLI. Now we're getting XP quick. Update the query to select the age, name, and balance. I wonder who teaches this course.
I catch my manager staring out the window at a guy shoveling garbage off the street and into a truck. He kind of sighed and said, "You know, we're not so different, he and I." And over the years, I've come to understand exactly what my manager meant. As backend developers, we take a bunch of data from one place and shovel it into another place. We're really just kind of moving digital garbage around.
I know a place full of smart people, all who don't know anything about AI because they're not chronically online or suffer from SF brain syndrome. I haven't heard of SFBS, but I like that.
That's like the whole job. And the best tool for moving digital garbage is SQL, or SQL, or Squeal.
Squeal.
So say you're a programmer at Google working on YouTube. Your job is to write code that shovels data from creators' devices, so a video, a title, a thumbnail, up into YouTube's cloud servers and stored in some database. Then, when users are bored at their sister's graduation, they log onto YouTube to find a meaningful distraction. Your job is to write code that shovels all that same video data back out of YouTube servers and down onto the user's devices. SQL, or structured query language, is just the language that we as programmers use to communicate with most
weird,
relational
Mark.
databases.
I wonder
And
why.
It's so popular that databases are broadly categorized into SQL databases and no SQL databases.
That's weird.
No SQL databases.
Twitch thing, maybe?
Which really just means everything else. So what is a database? Well, really, it's just a program, usually separate from your actual backend application server, that's built to store large amounts of data on disk. And importantly, to store it in a way that makes it fast to access with advanced filtering and sorting options. You can kind of think of it like a programmatically accessed Microsoft Excel. Now, with Excel, you move data around fairly manually by pointing and clicking, typing and dragging and dropping. A relational database works similarly, in that data is organized into tables of rows and columns. But it's all managed in code, not manually with mouse clicks. Your code automates the creates, reads, updates, and deletes within the database. The code that interacts directly with the database is, you guessed it, SQL. SQL is just a query language that we use to get data in and out of relational databases like MySQL, Postgres, or SQLite. It doesn't matter if your backend programming language is Go, Python, or TypeScript. If your database supports SQL, you can use SQL syntax
no worries,
to
Mark.
get
No worries at
data
all, man.
About a user named Bilbo out of your database. Select first name, last name, age,
No apologies
from
necessary.
users, where email equals bilbo@boot.dev.
Okay, we're using SQLite. Assignment. One way in which SQLite is a bit different is that it stores Boolean values as integers. Okay. Our users table has a Boolean isAdmin column to store whether a user is an admin or not. Write a query to see how this Boolean field is actually represented in the results. So we're going to select from users. And we are going to select the ID, the name, and the isAdmin flag. I guess I should probably make sure I have armor, shouldn't I? Yeah, 9 armor. Okay, I have plenty of armor. 15 consecutive streams, dude? That's awesome. Steven, have you heard of a series called Red Rising? I have heard of that series. I have not read it, though. I'm currently in the Brandon Sanderson Cosmere universe, but I've heard and I've been told by many people at some point I need to make my way over to Pierce Brown's universe. I believe that's the author, right, of Red Rising, Pierce Brown. But I've heard wonderful things about it. Yeah, Pierce Brown. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Yeah, I made a commitment to myself that I was gonna try to read more fiction, and so I'm trying to stick with reading all of the Cosmere. I'm about a third of the way through the first book in the second era of the Mistborn series is where I'm at right now. So I've got a long ways to go, but that's definitely been one of my goals this year, is to try to not be so stuck reading nonfiction all the time. I love nonfiction. It's not that there's anything wrong with reading a lot of nonfiction. I know there's a lot of great fiction out there too that I'm missing out on. It's the strongest? Oh, well, I guess I started on a good note. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know? It's like, do you want to start with the best or do you want to end with the best? There was something about them I couldn't get into. No, yeah, I feel you, man. Some books just, it took me how many reads? It took me 2 or 3 reads to get through several books where like I'd pick it up, read a chapter, put it down. Pick it up, read a chapter. You know what I mean? Like you just have to be in the right, I think you have to be in the right headspace, the right place in your life, right? For some books. You want to read the best and TBR the rest. That's just me projecting. Yeah. It's funny though how like different content or different media, right? It hits you differently at different places in your life or different stages of your life. One thing that didn't connect 5 years ago now connects with you, vice versa. Let's take a look at how SQLite does not enforce type checking. Notice that within the create table statement, name is defined as text. Okay. Run the code and take a look at the results. Yep, I see that. On line 3, change the text string from Montgomery Burns to the integer 1. Run the code again. Four more followers to go till we reach 340 on Twitch. Let's go. Yeah, I would love to have more followers over there on Twitch. That'd be great. Actually, I think my big goal, I think at some point I'm going to try to turn my attention to, my big goal is I'd like to try to get 1,000 subscribers or members across Twitch or YouTube. So either 1,000 members on YouTube or 1,000 members or subscribers on Twitch or something in the middle. I think that would be really awesome to hit that goal. Something fun to strive for. Let's begin building a table for the CashPal database. Create the people table with the following fields: ID, tag, name, age, balance is admin. Okay, create table. God, it's been, I don't know how long it's been since I wrote SQL. Probably more than 2 years, I would guess. ID. Well, I take that back. I've used SQLite in my own personal projects and have monkeyed with the database a couple times. But on a regular basis, yeah, it's been a long time. Been a long time. You should host a stream event, the Trad Code Games. What does the event do? I don't know, but I like the name. That actually sounds fun. Yeah, I mean, I can totally see trad coding becoming a thing of like a sporting thing, you know? Same way chess, right, has become that way in a lot of ways, right? Can become something. I mean, there is competitive programming, isn't there? Like, there's people who do competitive programming. So maybe that becomes more popular now that AI has... We need a table that tracks the transactions between our CashPal users. Create the transactions table within the following fields. With the following fields, okay? Create table, and we're gonna call it what? Transactions. ID is integer. Recipient ID is integer. Sender ID is integer. Note is text. And amount is a real number. Logic near table info. Oh, I need commas, don't I? Okay, what have I done wrong? Create people. Oh. Semicolon. No. Create table. Create table. Teams of 4 all stream their screens, create a game in an X amount of time, then games get released to Y number of judges to get ranked or something. Yeah, a game would be fun. No AI outside of like Google Gemini response, but no AI coding, no AI generated assets or art. Dude, the no AI generated assets or art would be tough, I think. I don't know. I'm terrible at making visually interesting and nice looking things. Create table. I don't understand what I've done wrong. This guy trailing. There we go. Let's see. With SQLite, an alter table statement allows you to rename a table or column, add or drop a column. We need to make some changes to the people table. At the moment, we have these 6 columns. Okay. Rename the table to users. Rename the tag column to username and add the password text. Okay. Got to get an artist on your team. Exactly. Yeah, you would most definitely want to recruit for that. They would be key. They'd be like your key man, you know? I feel like so much of games is built around the visual appeal of them. So we want to alter table people. And we want to rename to users, right? And I think the first thing I'd have to do before I did anything like that is I'd have to learn how to build a game. I don't know how to build a game. Need to learn Unity or Godot or something. Godot or something like that. Let's see. Rename column. Rename. This would be rename what to what? Rename tag to username. This would be alter table users, add column, password text. So rename it, add. Did it work? Oh boy, migrations. A database migration is a change to the structure of a relational database. You can think of it like a commit and git, but for your database schema. Every migration records how the structure of your data evolves over time. For example, when we previously used alter table statement to add a new column, we were performing a migration. They are essential. Good migrations are small, incremental, and ideally reversible. As you can imagine, with working with large databases, making changes can be scary. We have to be careful. I like listening to some of these
Database
lessons.
migrations are kind of like unit tests. Most people suck at writing them, but they do like to talk about how important they are. Now, you're probably doing migrations wrong.
That's such a dunk.
Database migrations are kind of like unit tests. Most people suck at writing them, but they do like to talk about how important they are. Now, you're probably doing migrations wrong, or more likely you're not even doing them. So let's talk about the right way to do them. Say that we have a users table with ID, username, and password columns. The database is currently being used in production, and now it's time to add a new feature, and that feature requires a birthday column for each user. The right way to do this isn't to just connect to the production DB with PSQL and run a quick add column.
What? Come on.
The right way is to create a migration
What a-
file.
what a
That add
buzz
column
killer,
query
man.
goes inside it. And our system should be configured to run our migrations whenever we deploy new code changes. Now, when we want to create a copy of the database, or we need to spin up a new local development environment, we can just run all of our migrations one after the other, and the schema, tables, columns, indexes, that kind of stuff, will always match. Now, this type of migration, where we're just adding a new column or a new table, tends to be really safe. None of the currently running queries in production are going to care about this birthday column. So when we add it, those queries will still work. They'll just ignore the new column. See, a good migration needs to think about two things. One, the old, currently running version of the code, and two, the new version of the code that will run after the migration is complete. A lot of developers forget about the old version. They write a migration, they test their new code on the new schema, and then they just deploy it. But as the migration deploys, the app breaks for the couple of minutes when the old version is still running, but with the new schema. So for example, say we create a migration that removes a password column and adds a Google ID column. Maybe we're no longer storing user passwords because we only support sign in with Google. Now, if we run this migration, but the currently running version of the app runs a select password from users query, then user logins are going to be broken until the new version of the code that doesn't use that field is deployed. So you might think, well, great, let's just deploy the code first. But that doesn't work either because the new code depends on the new Google ID column that's in the migration. So the answer here is to do a multi-phased rollout. Step 1, we run a migration that adds the new Google ID column, and this is safe. Step 2, we deploy the new code that uses the Google ID column, but not the password column. Step 3, we run a cleanup migration that just removes that unused password column. Okay, so creating and removing columns and tables is pretty straightforward, but what if we want to update an existing column? Well, generally speaking, the safest thing is to just not do that. At least not directly. It's okay to add an index to an existing column for performance reasons because that won't break any of the currently running queries. But what you don't want to do is rename an existing column that's being actively used in production. Instead, we should do another more complicated multi-phase rollout. Step 1, run a migration to create the new column. Step 2, copy the data over from the old column into the new column. Step 3, deploy the code that uses the new column, but not the old one. And step 4, this is very important, recopy the data from the old column to the new column to catch anything that was missed between the initial copy and the code deployment. And then step 5, just run a migration to remove the old column. Now, to be fair, this is kind of a lot of work. If your team just doesn't have the resources to do that, a cheat some companies will use when the migration gets really, really hairy is just to schedule some downtime. You can literally just turn off your application and tell your customers, hey, the whole site's gonna be down for the next 30 minutes while we do a big update to our database. I want to be clear, this should only be a last resort, and you should only do it if the migration's super hairy and you feel like the time trade-off isn't worth it. Most good engineering organizations tend to avoid downtime at all costs.
Yeah. I had a thought there about something he said. Now I can't remember. Yeah. Maybe it'll come back to me. Good stuff. See, we're going to add more columns to the transactions table. We need to know whether or not each transaction between two users was successfully completed. Our database should also track the type of transaction. Transaction table looks like this at the moment. Okay, complete the following SQL statement in this order. Add the Boolean column was successful to the transactions table. Add the text column transaction type to the transactions table. Bool is technically valid, but the assignment expects Boolean, so use Boolean instead of bool. So we're gonna do alter table transactions. We're gonna add column was successful. Whoops. Was successful. That's a Boolean. Then alter table transactions. Add column transaction type. Okay. The migration we applied ended up causing trouble in production. It's possible the app wasn't ready for the new columns. In situations like this, we need... Oh, I know what I was going to say. He was talking about all the migration stuff, and I thought, you know, that's one of the reasons why I kind of am a big fan of code-first migrations. That's one of the reasons I think I like ORMs, like Prisma, NT Framework, right? A lot of that integration stuff, right, you just kind of don't have to... You have to think about it. You should still go through all the thought process that he described, but actually generating the migrations and keeping the migrations in sync with whatever your code base or your data structures in your code base are, it's somewhat automated for you, which is, I think a nice feature. Okay, so we do alter table transactions. Drop column. All right, break time. I'm gonna sit here and drink coffee. Oh, actually, I might lift my kettlebell real quick. Also, Dylan, I think his name is Mulroy. He's live on Twitch now. He's got good music on his stream. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna see what kind of... Somebody sent me a 3D print file in our Discord. Now I'm curious. Tinkercad. I don't have one. What type of printer is this? Hersa. File type. What type of file do these use? Okay, so that file he sent me will work. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna put that on my TrueNAS server. Okay, so how do I view a file like that? 3MF file viewer. No, that's not what I want. Oh, that's cool. Gonna print me a little crab. I wonder if there's 3D print file of .NET robot. .NET robot. Yeah, I wonder if there's a 3D file of this guy somewhere. I wonder if this thing has a name. I think maybe my 3D printing arc is beginning. Okay, back to boot.dev. We probably have another 1 or 2 cycles in us. Okay, why are good migrations written in a reversible manner? So that if something goes wrong, the changes can be rolled back. Will database migrations often be coupled with application code updates? Yes, often. Although I'd argue to try to avoid it. SQL as a language can support many different data types. However, the types that your database management system supports will depend on which database you use. Let's go over data types stored by SQLite and how they're stored. Null, integer, real, text, a blob, Boolean. You may notice that we use the real data type in this course for some fields representing currency amounts. This is for simplicity. In the real world, to avoid problems with floating point math, the best practice is to use integer for currency amounts. The value then represents the smallest denomination. For example, $42.67 would be stored as 4,267 cents. It's important to note SQLite does not have a separate Boolean storage class. Instead, Boolean values are stored as integers. It's not actually all that weird. Boolean values are just binary bits after all. SQLite will let you write queries using Boolean expressions, but it will convert the Booleans under the hood. Stored as 1. All SQLite support the same data types. False. What type would you like to use to store a user's email address? Text. Write a SQL statement to create a new table named post. You should contain the following columns. Use data types that make the most sense given the column name. For ID columns, assume we can use integer. Okay. Create table, posts. It's always a post table. ID is integer. Image URL is going to be text. Description is also going to be text. We gotta forget the comma. Description, yep. Author ID is going to be integer. And then is sponsored. We're gonna type as Boolean. Write up migration for the post table that achieves the following. The author ID column should be renamed to poster ID. Add a new column named is edited with a Boolean table. Drop the is sponsored column. Okay, so we'll do alter table posts. And we will rename column author ID to poster ID. And then I'm just going to save myself some typing here. And this one too. Okay, so this one we need to drop is sponsored. And then this one we want to add column is edited and type that to Boolean. We didn't force any constraints on our tables when we created them, and it has allowed for null entries to make their way into our table. Let's take a look at our transactions table to see what those null values look like. Write a query to select all fields on all records in the transactions table. So we're going to do select star from transactions. Okay, so I guess the nulls are just showing up as empty space. Okay. A constraint is a rule we create on a database that enforces some specific behavior. In other dialects of SQL, you can add constraint within an alter table statement. SQLite does not support this feature, so when we create our tables, we need to make sure we specify all the constraints we want. SQLite does not implement, in case you're curious, list of SQL features SQLite does not implement. Thankfully, all the tables we have created for CashPal up to this point have been for testing purposes. Now that we have a better understanding of constraints, let's build our database with the proper constraints and tables. Create table users. Okay, need ID, integer, primary key. And then we need name, which is text. It will be not null. Have I ever mentioned how much I hate null values? Hate them. Just give me a default value, you know? How do I spell unique? Not null. How do you format multiple constraints? Is admin. Okay. Logic near pass. Oh. Near not null. Do we need to separate these with commas? SQL, light, multiple constraint statement. How to write multiple constraint in SQL. Okay, I'm sure this is helpful to somebody. I'm sure this is helpful to somebody, but helpful document. There's nothing helpful about that documentation to me. Yeah, it looks like you have to looks like you need a comma, maybe. No, that's separate columns. Huh. So let me look at my... Oh. There we go. I'm just missing a space. Submit. Run the code, knows there's a bug. We have a violation of a primary key constraint on the ID column. Fix the data that's being inserted. Okay, so this was the up migration. So we have primary key on the ID field. And we're inserting into users. Looks like we're inserting 2 users, but both IDs are set to 1. Okay, so let's set Jerry's ID to 2. Okay, foreign keys are what make relational databases relational. Create a foreign key in SQLite. So we have our departments table, we have our primary key, we have our employees table, and then we're adding a constraint here called foreign key departments. We're telling SQLite that the foreign key for this constraint is the department ID field, which is an integer. And that references the department's table's ID field. Okay. Our users table stores the country our users are from in a country code field. We need some additional data about countries, like their name. We don't want to blow our users table with all that country data. All right, I think let's turn that down a little bit. And we're gonna switch over to a different playlist. Let's see. We're gonna switch over to this guy.
I get it, you don't wanna see me. I get it, you don't wanna see me. Nowadays, I don't really wanna be me. It's safe to say I've been bleeding. I see your face when I'm sleeping. I typed 100 texts before deleting, but I get
So let me know if the music gets too loud for you guys.
I totally get it. You don't wanna see me, but I really need you. Fuck. I really need you. But it's okay, it's just another day. Walking through the town and I'm hearing your name. It's like, but it's okay, it's just another day. By the way, I just drove by your place. Lies in my face, I don't wanna taste. I just wanna go back to that place. Lies they hit my face, and I see your face. I need to escape, it's way too late.
Creating a foreign key without the constraint keyword means the name of the constraint is auto-assigned.
And I'm not away if I gotta wait for you. I'm not away if I gotta wait for you.
Oh, I see. Okay. Insert statements again. Fix the. So we just need to include the country. Oh, we just need to use the proper value. So this should be EIN. There we go. There's no perfect schema. How to decide on the sane schema? Huh. Let's try the simplest schema that fulfills our project's needs. I like that. Create the transaction table with the following fields.
It's a little like food, yeah, that's alright. When I see it, she's still my side. I'm sitting on the curb of the parking lot, talking about our lives and the futures we've got. And she says, don't you worry, you're only 19, so why you in such a hurry? And it's a parking lot sunrise, with a girl who says that she might just sign me on 10. We're until then I'll wait under a parking lot sunrise, with a girl who says that she might just sign me on 10. We're until then I'll wait. It's a little bit late, it's a little bit light, but when I'm with her it just feels right. I say I've been running around, I'm exhausted, but when I'm with you it feels like I've been anesthetized. She say I don't really mind being put under for you. I'll be waiting for the sunrise, and it's a parking lot sunrise, with a girl who says that she might just sign me on 10. But until then I'll wait under a parking lot sunrise, with a girl who says that she might just sign me on 10.
How many courses is Curly enrolled in? Let's see. Curly is ID 2. So Curly is enrolled in 2 courses. How many students are in the Haskell Monads course? Probably very few. Haskell Monads is 3, so there's 3 students. The big difference between relational and non-relational databases is that non-relational databases tend to nest their data. That's right. That's the number. It's the first rule that you learned from MongoDB, right? It's data that is accessed together is stored together, which unfortunately breaks down really quickly in a lot of real-world scenarios. Instead of always keeping records in separate tables, they often store records within other records. To oversimplify it, you can think of non-relational databases as giant JSON blobs. If a user can have multiple courses, you might just add all the courses to the user records. Exactly, which is great, right? This is great. And then somebody says, yes, but the number of courses that a user can be enrolled in is unbounded. We also need to do some advanced sorting and filtering on a user's courses, right? And then all of a sudden now you're into all kinds of weird query operators and strange things that you got to do. Non-relational databases often connect similar entities by using nested data. Did you see the answer? One of the answers was flubber. How do non-relational databases connect? Flubber, sir. Flubber. They use flubber. That's kind of like a 90s reference, right? Like depending on when you grew up, that flubber might not actually land with you. We've created a table for you called CRUD. It's a toy table where we are using for interview practice at Cashbell. Determine which SQL command can be used for a read operation and use it to read all the fields and all records in the CRUD table. We want to select star from CRUD. I'm not sure what you're wanting me to do here. We've created. Okay, I think I did what they wanted me to do. Okay, I was like, I'm pretty sure I did what they want me to do. Let's start manually adding some of the records to our users table. Let's take a look at the create table statement in the setup code. Use that information to insert the following records into the table. I'll be completely honest, I hate writing insert into statements. Namely because you have to explicitly say all of the fields. Would it be cheating to just ask an LLM to generate the? I think that would be cheating. Okay, I think that worked. Many dialects of SQL support an auto increment feature. When inserting records into a data table with auto increment enabled, the database will assign the next value automatically. In SQLite, an integer ID field has the primary key constraint, will auto increment by default. Depending on how your database is set up, you may be using traditional IDs or you may be using UUIDs. SQL doesn't support auto incrementing a UUID. So if your database is using them, your server will have to handle the changing for each record. Okay. Let's add some more records into our users table, but allow the database to automatically increment the ID. Add the following records to the database. So we do insert into users. So we need the fields and we need the values. Name, age, country, code, username, password is admin. Lance 20 US Lane boot.dev is best. Song's good. Burning Wish. Let's see, logic error near insert. Dude, we're ripping through these lessons. Every time someone creates an account on boot.dev, Alan or Lane has to manually add them to the database by hand, writing a SQL query. What? Oh, I guess they're just asking in general. No, that's false. Within backend systems, SQL queries are typically generated by code. All right, what is it? 7:58. How long have I been live? 3 hours. Okay, I'll do one more. We'll do one more 25-minute session, and then we'll hang it up. My son has his first padded practice of the year for football. God, I miss playing football so much. This app that I use to play music, it has an auto DJ functionality to it, and I'm not really sure how it works. Yeah, I'm not really sure how it works, but just gonna keep using it. Level 77. Dude, this dude is freaking crushing 50,000 XP. Holy shit, this guy's at a level. How does he earn so many points, bro? Oh, does he earn for GitHub activities? Do you earn points for that? Huh. Crazy. Oh man, look how many left. Dude, he's done so much. Okay, well, I've got a long ways to go to catch up to that dude. Okay. We want to use to retrieve the number of records. Okay, so we do select, count, star from users. We need to know the username of all users in our users table that have admin privileges. So we're going to do select is admin from users where is admin equals true. Is this 2 equals or 1 equals? I feel like it's just 1 equals. Oh, the username. Username. My friend Paige with lorem ipsum on it just cooked. What are you talking about? Cooked on what? Select all rows and their columns from the transactions table where the owner of the transactions is receiving money. So if they're receiving money, then the sender ID will be null. No, the recipient ID will be null. So we want to do select star from users. Page is just a magical book page. Huh. Yeah, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but interesting. Where sender ID is null. No such table. Oh, we're in the transactions table. Sorry. Whenever the owner of the transactions receives money, the sender ID will not be null. There we go. Delete Samantha's records from the user table. Okay, so first let's do select. We're going to delete some rows. We should be careful about this. Select star from employees. And let's actually get a count. Or we'll get a count afterwards. Select from employees where ID equals what? Let's do this first. Run. Select star from employees. Oh, this is users. So what is Samantha's ID? Samantha's ID is 2. So select from users where ID equals 2. Why is that not working? Is that not how you write a... Huh. Oh, I wonder if that's not... There, it's because it's running this. It's not running my... And I can't edit this, can I? Okay. Well, fine. That's fine. So we just want to do delete from users where ID equals 2. Oh, here we go. The danger of deleting data. You should have automated backups being taken of a production database. Almost always. A soft delete is where you mark a row as deleted instead of actually removing the data. Yes, that's a soft delete. Although I feel kind of personally conflicted about soft deletes. I feel like as a user, I don't want my data soft deleted. If I delete my data, I want it gone. Or if you do soft deleting in your database, I want the ability to see what has been softly deleted so that I can really delete it if I mean to. But applications that softly delete your data and then don't tell you that, hey, we still have your data that you think you deleted, I think that's kind of gross. And I think there's actually some, I mean, I think, at least in Europe, GDPR, I think, requires you to have that. Oh, thought I heard somebody in the basement. We need to update Lane's records in our user table. He founded CashPal, but he's not even recognized as an admin. Update Lane's record within the users table so that the is admin field is set to true. Don't like that song. ORMs. Hey, I like ORMs. When using an ORM, you call methods and functions made available via the ORMs API. One advantage of an ORM is that it makes your code less verbose, is easier to debug at a low level, ensures faster queries. No. Gives you more control of your database. Probably not. I don't know if I'd actually answer any of these. I guess code is less verbose might be a valid one. What does he say in this? Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. Should you use an ORM? Depends on the project and team. Always, almost never, almost always. I'm gonna say it depends on. I would say it probably. I would probably say almost always you should, but. That's just me. Write a SQL query that returns the count of every record from the user's table that has their country code equal to US. Okay, so select count star where from users where country code equals US. Using our previous query, we've noticed that some of the records were incorrectly saved with country code. Write a SQL statement to update the country code value from USA to US for all applicable user records. Okay. I don't remember. How does the update syntax look? Update. So update users. And we're going to set country code equal to US where country code equals USA. Sometimes we need to structure the data we return from our queries in a specific way. An else clause allows us to alias a piece of data in our query. Okay. The difference is that the results from the alias query would have column names ID and name instead of employee ID and employee name. Let's see, a user has asked to find all the transactions on their account from their grandmother. We thought it would be fun to rename the note field to birthday message because we notice all the transactions from grandma are birthday messages. Okay, so we say select amount note from transactions where sender ID equals 10. Okay. And you want the note field to say as birthday message. We need to look through CashPal's transaction data, determine whether or not any of the transactions need to be audited. Return all the data from the transactions table, add an extra column at the end with the alias audit. If a row's okay. So select star. So they want us to do this, and we're going to say if was successful equals true, we will return no action required. Otherwise, we will return perform an audit. Okay, why is the we didn't alias it. As audit. There we go. We can check if values are between two numbers using the where clause. In an intuitive way, the where clause doesn't always have to be used to specify specific IDs or values. We can also use it to help narrow down our result set. Okay, we need to see how many young adults are using CashPal. So we'll select name and age from users, where age is between 18 and 30. Hold on, wait a minute. He just said young adult, so I'm 33. Does that mean I'm not a young adult anymore? Oh my gosh, that was a big yawn. That about took me out. I thought young adult was early 20s, mid 20s over. You're just an adult. No. Yeah, I have no idea. I that just caught me off guard for a second. I was like, oh shit. I guess I am old now. I guess I'm closer to 40 than I am to 20 now. Yikes, that's actually, I'm kind of excited about that, but at the same time it makes me sad. It means my kids are gonna be gone sooner than I ever realized it. Run a distinct query to get all the unique country codes from the users table. So select distinct country codes from employees. No such table employees? What? Oh, users. Write a query that retrieves all columns for users in the users table who are from Canada and under the age of 18. Okay. So we'll say select star from users where country code equals CA and age is less than 18. You can group logical operations with parentheses to specify the order of operations. Write a query that retrieves the count of all users who match the conditions above. Okay, so select count star, and then it wants us to alias that as junior count. From what? From what? Users? Yeah. Where users who are from the United States or Canada and age is less than 18. So we have to do... This is some... That's some interesting music. This auto DJ is all over the place. Can I do that? Or do I have to... Okay, so we have to do this. Okay, so we gotta specify the field each time. We want to know which of our users from the United States, Canada, or Mexico. Write a select statement that returns name, age, and country code. Select name, age, country code. We'll say from users where country code is in. And we say US, CA. The like operator. Okay, like operator. Let's see. Our team is dealing with a ticket from one of our users, but they're having trouble pulling up their record in the database. They're pretty sure the user's name starts with Bo. Write a query that returns all fields for records where the user's name starts with Bo. So select star from users where name is like %Bo. That. Huh. That song had a weird transition there. I'm overriding the auto DJ's recommendations. All right, one more assignment. HR has been able to narrow down their query. They want to report all data for users whose names start with Bo and are exactly 5 characters long. Only a single character. Okay. So we can do select star from users where name is like Bo, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 5 characters total. So that's 1, 2, 3, right? Which describes the values that match example 1. Select star from users where name like this. So it can be values with values with or and are at least 3 characters in length. So it's definitely this one. Which would not match example 2? How many characters are there? There's 2 characters. So I don't think singing would. Sling would, thing would, bling would, singing wouldn't. Because it's too long. We did it. Oh. Okay, that was a good morning. That was very productive. We got through Pokemon course. Got through the Pokemon course. It's good. Now we have quite a bit of did we level up? Yeah, we did. Level 78. We're closing in, man. We got 22 more levels to go. Let's see where we are on the SQLite path. About halfway. So we should finish this tomorrow, hopefully. Then we can build a blog aggregator. I'm interested about this one. I wonder who teaches this. Isn't there a course that the Primogen teaches? Is this it? I don't think that this must not be it. Huh. This one, okay. So maybe the Git course will... yeah, that's not even on here. Okay, well, I'll call this a successful day. I will be back tomorrow morning, as always, as per usual. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. And if you already had your Wednesday, I hope it was great and ended on a great note. And I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. That's it for me. I got nothing else. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. See ya.